Today, I signed an executive order to launch the first ever self-deportation program for illegal aliens.
That framework, I think you would get 90% of Congress agreeing with what
how
you've
come we can't
articulated.
solve it? That's what frustrates a lot of us is, all right, I think we all kind of agree on those great principles. What's the main problem? Why can't we solve this?
Donald Trump recently launched a new self-deportation program where immigrants will get free flights to any country as well as a little pocket change just to get out of America. I want to watch this viral announcement, and then I want us to examine a controversial clip between liberal California Congressman Ro Khanna and Bishop Barron on the issue of immigration. And at the end, we will sum things up and come away with how a person should reason on this topic from a biblical and Christian standpoint. So let's watch this minute-and-a-half announcement by Donald Trump, and then we will get straight into the video of Bishop Barron and Ro Khanna.
Today, I signed an executive order to launch the first ever self-deportation program for illegal aliens. We are making it as easy as possible for illegal aliens to leave America. Any illegal alien can simply show up at an airport and receive a free flight out of our country. We have also launched a phone app called CBP Home. That's CBP Home, where illegals can book a free flight to any foreign country. As long as it's not here, you can go anywhere you want. We're also adding a very important exit bonus for illegals to further incentivize their self-deportation. This deportation bonus will save American taxpayers billions and billions of dollars. What Biden did to this country can never be explained, will never, ever be accepted. Eventually, when the illegals are gone, it will save us trillions of dollars. However, if illegal aliens choose to remain in America, they're remaining illegally and they will face severe consequences. Illegal aliens who stay in America face punishments including significant jail time, enormous financial penalties, confiscation of all property, garnishment of all wages, imprisonment and incarceration, and sudden deportation in a place and manner solely of our discretion. So to all illegal aliens who book your free flight right now, we want you out of America, but if you're really good, we're going to try and help you get back in. Thank you.
That was Donald Trump's announcement. Keep it in mind, and now let's watch the clip between Bishop Barron and Ro Khanna.
Speaking of which, the other issue that it certainly preoccupies the bishops of our country, since I became a bishop 8 years ago, we talk about it every single meeting, and that's immigration.
Yes.
When I was in California, obviously it was front and center issue, but it's all over our country. Everyone says it's like a cliche, almost a broken system, and I think that's true. Catholic social teaching, and this is a very important part of it, it says yes to a nation's right to define and defend its borders.
Right.
And not just, for xenophobic or jingoistic reasons. There are good moral reasons for that,
Right.
to maintain an economy can't handle this huge influx of people or whatever it is. There are good moral reasons. And to be honest with you, I think sometimes as a church, we're not as good at articulating that there's a moral reason why a nation can defend its borders. Okay, that's one feature of it. The other, of course, born of Jesus and the New Testament and the prophets, is a great openness to the poor and to the marginalized and those who are threatened in their home country and all of that. By a deep instinct, we say, yes. And then as Americans, Statue of Liberty, the huddled masses. I mean, so there's all these instincts in us, both American and Catholic, that say yes, with the caution of defending borders. Okay, that seems to me at the principle level where we are.
And I agree with that framework. I think you would get 90% of Congress agreeing with what
how
you've
come we can't
articulated.
solve it? That's what frustrates a lot of us is, all right, I think we all kind of agree on those great principles. What's the main problem? Why can't we solve this?
I think the challenge has become it's so politicized. I mean, there's a sense, I think, from some, and I don't want to be unfair about it, but there is a sense for some that they maybe on our side that we're not doing enough to protect the border. Like we, in my view, should be funding border agents. We should be funding immigration judges. We should be funding technology. We should clearly say a nation needs safe and secure borders, and there's and not be demonizing the border patrol or not funding it. On the other hand, there also needs to be a recognition that that immigration is still enriching to the United States, and and there's got to be a pathway for people to come here. If there was a more orderly process, if you didn't have these awful scenes at the border where people are being raped and where people to get to the border and where they're being harassed, and it's this terrible journey. And if you didn't have the concentration of migrants in cities where they're not being able to work and where they're becoming a drain, I think that a lot of the immigrants have integrated into the country. And so the question is, how do we have an orderly asylum process? How do we have an orderly process to come into the United States in a way that respects the rule of law? And it's politically charged.
But we can't find majorities in both houses that would agree with what you just said. It seems puzzling to me that we're not able to, over many, many years now, it's been years of trying to adjudicate this thing. And I don't know. What you're saying makes perfect sense to me.
It's not going to happen in the 2024 election because we're so divided as a country. And then there's a deeper issue of what's going on in this country, and that gets back to the point that we're trying to do something unprecedented. We're trying to become this multiracial, cohesive, multiracial democracy. And so people say, okay, it's fine if they play cricket in Rose District. Let's just make sure baseball remains the national pastime. And this is a real conversation that we need to have in this country, is how do we embrace the new without discarding the old, the tradition? Where is that balance? And so much of our fight is the inability to see that nuance, that there are certain traditions of this country that we should embrace and that we make room for the new without just jettisoning the old. But it seems to me that the immigration debate is caught up on that, with some people saying change is happening too fast versus others saying, no, we're still going to be this great melting pot of America.
Yeah, no, that's helpful.
I do believe that this is helpful as well. It really is a political issue that keeps us from enacting what is theologically pressing, namely securing our borders for the safety of all and providing for the immigrant when they arrive. I think we can reason about this topic like this after watching these clips. Firstly, we do need a secure border. Ro Khanna admits himself that 90% of politicians, whether liberal or conservative, believe a secure border is necessary. And as Bishop Barron mentioned, there is a great argument that an influx of immigrants can actually hurt an economy, which of course affects both the homebody and the immigrant equally. So it's not wrong to think we need secure borders. We do need secure borders. And I think Trump is right to provide free access for all illegal immigrants to leave the country. And they should leave. That is the right or legal thing to do. On the other hand, I also think that what Donald Trump is doing here is actually very compassionate. He's actually providing a way, a compassion, a mercy to those who are here illegally to leave freely. And I think that that is a very, very good way of approaching and thinking and tackling this issue. Secondly, though, I don't think that we should force people to leave. I don't think in most cases we should force illegal immigrants to leave. Now, it seems to me that what the White House is doing is taking a different path on deportation precisely because of their more aggressive tactics that caused lots of backlash. The Bible is pretty clear on how the immigrants should be treated, especially ones that have already settled within a country. Leviticus 19:34 says, "The foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native born. Love them as yourself, for you were foreigners in Egypt." The Bible repeatedly commands love and hospitality towards those immigrants, towards those people that are not from your country. Jesus himself said, "I was a stranger and you invited me in." You see, in a sense, Jesus was an immigrant in this world, the world he created. He frequently went out of his way to will the good of the other as other. And I think that principle should be applied here for all of us Americans on this issue of illegal immigration. For example, if you know an illegal immigrant that is living near you, take care of them, be nice to them, love them, serve them, provide for them. Don't report them to the authorities. love them, will their good. You shouldn't be an enactor of justice. That isn't your job. It's God's job. That's what God does. Remember, these are people. These are people, real humans. They're not just pawns in a political schema. You see, your political views should never take precedence to your Christianly call to love. To conclude, the main issue here, as I see it, is a dichotomy between justice and compassion. Should we be compassionate to the illegal immigrant, or should we serve justice upon them? The Bible is clear that both justice and compassion are necessary. You can't have compassion without justice and justice without compassion. Micah 6:8 says, "Do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly." The question becomes, how do we do that? It seems that if an immigrant is already here, I think a Christian should live into compassion. They should live into love. But in terms of getting into the country, I think proper legal means should be followed. Or, in other words, justice should be served, justice should be enacted. It really is a tension between the two, and we have to walk and live carefully out both of these principles. I think it's just for the state to remove criminals, would be another example, such as a cartel member. I think that they need to be removed from America. I would be in favor of a forceful removal of a cartel member, but I wouldn't be so much in favor of doing that to Diego down the street. And I think once you can see that nuance, the distinction and the clarity of how we are to walk between justice and compassion becomes very, very clear. 99% of the time, especially for you and me, the person that is talking and the person that is watching this clip, compassion is our call. Loving and taking care of people is our call. We're not the enforcers of justice. We let the big boys take care of that. And we just need to be busy being loving and kind to those around us. All right, that's all I have for this video. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Remember that Christianity is Christ. Without him, there is no Christianity. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.